What is up YouTube? And today I'll be showing you guys my one-shot Terrormaton team that I use to actually farm this very quickly. Now with the 2x coming up, you guys are probably looking to farm very quickly through thresholds because you guys probably have a lot of stability pots and stuff saved up or might be overcapping stamina. So I'll be showing you my team comp that actually one-shots Terrormaton. Now this team actually features Liliam and Diting. We're using 2 DPS because the boss is pretty tanky, so solo DPSing requires pretty crazy gear and setup. So we're just using 2 DPS for it, and you're going to see that it works out very well. And we're also going to be using Valyrian here for the attack buff from her S3, and also to have this cheat death for my team. And we're also using Veronica to strip the immunity at the start of battle, and also to strip the defense buff that the boss puts up halfway through, while also applying Soul Ward, which is another cheat death, which makes this run pretty much unfailable unless we miss the immunity strip at the beginning, which can happen a lot of the times. And then our defense down character is going to be Dinah. You can use Kloss instead, it works as well, but Dinah is very good because she puts like this super defense break with vulnerable and erosion, which makes you do a ton more damage. And you're going to see that the lattice requirements is pretty easy, honestly. For Veronica and Dinah, you don't actually need anything now that I'm looking at it. You don't need any lattices invested. Valyrian only needs her S3. And of course, your 2 DPS need to be maxed out because they are the damage dealers. So let's actually look at Veronica first. So she's going first on the team. You want her to outspeed the arms. So you want her to be about like 265 speed, I believe. And you're only really putting her on effect accuracy. You don't really need any bulk because of the fact that you basically have 2 cheat deaths. So she's very tanky anyways and will never really die on the opener. So you're just putting her on full speed and effect accuracy, and you want to make sure she is the first one to go on your team. Now for your shell here, you want to run her on Codex because you need her to S3 twice. You want her to S3 at the start to get rid of the immunity, and then you want her to S3 again on her second turn to get rid of the defense buff and also to re-put up Soul Ward. If you don't dispel the defense buff, it's still fine, it's just going to make the run faster, but the most important thing is you want to reapply this Soul Ward buff because it is super strong. So that's the main reason why you want her on Codex. The character that will go next on your team is going to be Dinah. So note that my Veronica here is 272 speed. My Dinah here is going to be at 271. So you want her to go right after, and it's pretty much the same thing. You don't really care about bulk in this team because we have 2 cheat deaths, and you're just going to run them on 3 effect accuracy pieces, similar to Veronica. And for your shell, it's the same thing. You want to run her on Codex of Magic, just because you might as well just S3 twice to apply erosion and extend the duration of defense and vulnerable buff or debuff in case the fight goes longer than expected, which it really shouldn't. And yeah, like I said, she's 1 speed slower than Veronica because she needs to move after, and that is pretty much it. You can see both of them are literally level 1 at 5-star because it doesn't matter how tanky they are, you're not going to die with this setup. Next we have Valyrian. So Valyrian is the easiest to build. All you need is her S3 maxed, and all you need is 3 HP percent pieces. Literally nothing else matters. I have her on a random time weave, but yeah, like I said, nothing really matters. The shell, you can run Artisan to make it a little bit more consistent, but for the most part, the stats are very easy. Just run her on 3 HP percent bonus pieces so that your S3 shield is going to be thicker, and you're good to go. And honestly, it's not even really that necessary because you have so many cheat deaths, but you might as well just make the shield bigger. Now we have the 2 damage dealers, so they're going to be on pretty similar builds. The speed tuning for your DPS doesn't matter, whether you use Yeli or Chloros instead of Liliam here. They both work. It's really up to you, but because Liliam is the current banner character, I decided to showcase her here. But basically, like I said, you need all of their skills maxed because it's a one-shot comp. Liliam, you can actually not max her S2 because you're going to kill the boss regardless, but this just makes the run smoother and faster. And basically, this is the build setup we're going for. You're just going for full damage. Kenai, Fury, plus Fury Edge, or Swift Raid, both are fine, are going to be the best. And you're going to see that the damage from these characters are going to be amazing. And the build will be pretty much the same for Diting as well. But this time around, I actually don't have an extra White Fang with Kenai, so because of that, I have him on Harvest Fury, which works as well when you're one-shotting, and you're going to see the damage from him is also very good. For your shell, White Fang is going to be very good. You can also run Count. Count is probably better for both of them, but we're just using White Fang here because I don't really have a Count to go around. But you're going to see that as long as these characters are like 210 speed, I believe. They should be able to lap in time. You don't want them too slow because of the fact that you do want them to actually take their turn again. Nothing in this team actually helps them with their pushing, so you might want to mess with their speed a bit and see what works for you. But I found that this speed I have here, 225 Liliam and I think 220-ish dieting, works out pretty well. I'm not too sure what the speed needs to be, but just test it out. Swift Raid makes it so that you don't really have to worry about it too much. But if you're running Fury Edge, you might want to put them on some faster DPS pieces. For the right side modules, I have crit damage, crit damage for Liliam. And for dieting, I think I have crit damage, crit rate, because it doesn't matter for him. And I think I have Liliam going first before dieting, because this way, your target from your passive from dieting will actually mark the boss. And this will make you do a lot more damage. So it's actually very important that you have your Liliam go before dieting, so that dieting's passive here will actually mark the boss and you do more damage. So I'm going to show you guys the run now. You can see how it plays out. It's pretty simple. You just do the Veronica S3 to strip the immunity, into Dinah S3 to defense down, and then you're basically just nuking the boss with your 2 DPS, and you'll kill it in about like 40 seconds. It'll be even faster if you have count on your characters. If you have count on dieting and Liliam, it'll be even faster. And if you have better gear, obviously the runs will be quicker as well. So I'm going to show you guys the run now, but before I do, I just want to say that because Terrormaton has immunity, if you actually fail to steal the immunity with Veronica's S3 on the opener, the run will fail, not just for this team, but pretty much every single fast speed team for this boss, because you're either dotting the boss or one-shotting it with defense down, and immunity obviously prevents that. And Dinah, all she needs to do is land her defense down and you will win. The other debuffs will speed up the run, but it's definitely not necessary. And if you want to actually increase the chance of you landing your erosion because you need it for some reason, because your your damage gear isn't that great, you can actually level her S3 to level 3 and it will be a lot better. So yeah, Hazy Dream goes up. This is going to be because we need the attack buff. That's how you max her S3. We have so many cheat deaths that we're never going to really die, even if the run takes a little bit longer. Dinah is feeling nice, same with Veronica, and they do their job. And then Liliam goes into the boss here, will do a ton of damage, and this will set up for dieting to then follow up with the target as well. You can see he does a ton of damage here. And usually at this point you run out of damage without like Lily and stuff like that, or Yelly, after we strip the defense buff, which is great. But basically with Liliam we have another execute, and Dinah on Codex will apply the debuffs again, and then Liliam should clean up the boss here. So that is pretty much how the run works when things go correctly. Other times, defense buff doesn't get stripped on the second one, or you don't land vulnerable in erosion, and the run does take longer. But because we do have basically 2 characters that give cheat death, and dieting can also just take his following turn and kill the boss, there's a lot of room for error, and this makes this one-shot team one of the more stable ones out there. So yeah, 2x event is starting this weekend as of the posting of this video. So this is a great way to start making your fast Terrormaton team to get those Wellspring modules for your Sonya, or your Fushu, or your Kenai, and your Fury Edge modules for any DPS in the game, really. And yeah, hopefully this video helps you guys out. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.